Hello and welcome to Georgia Site's Beginners Tatting video classes, online classes for shuttle tatters. Today I'm going to teach you how to read pattern and what terms mean, okay? Let me give you a little brief history before we move any further. Tatting has been around for generations. Okay, many generations. We have found patterns from back in the 1800s. So the terms have changed even though the technique is the same. Okay, and it can get confusing. Tatting is not like with your crochet and knitting. It does not have a designated systematic way of saying what to do. Whereas with crochet, it'll say a double crochet 3 times, da 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 da. Whereas tatting, it'll say a ring, 3 picots separated by 2 double stitches, for instance. Or another pattern will say 3 picot, 3 picot, 3 picot, whatever. But there's no set terminology for tatting, okay? There's no universal language. So what Palmetto's Tatter Guild has done is they have came up with a terminology sheet. And as you can see, it's 4 pages long. It gives you everything that they've run across so far. Okay, now down below the video, you're going to have a link to download a copy of this and print it out. Keep that handy until you learn how to read patterns, okay? And patterns can come in various forms, okay? You can have a diagrammed pattern. You can have written patterns. Written patterns are very confusing if you don't understand what they mean, okay? So print this out. There are other links that will be down below the video for other guilds that have other terms listed on their sheets, but most of them are consistent. It'll also give you all kinds of information. These are good sites to go to learn and understand, okay? So let's get on with it. The Palmetto's Tatters Guild, I'll give you a link to this to give you the terms, so when you're reading through a pattern you can understand what all this means. All right, now let's get on to reading patterns. Here we have, this is from Bisentat. I'll give you a link to their website as well down below, okay? It's a wonderful website, okay? Don't get me wrong, she has a ton of information on her website. But one of the things that we use in class is this diagram, okay? And it shows the various ways that patterns are written. For instance, this is a diagrammatic pattern. And you have a circle, which is a ring. You have a chain that comes off here, okay? And you have a number 5. Now what that means is there's 5 double stitches between each one of these picots, okay? It doesn't give you a count on the chain yet. Then you have the written version, okay? You have ring of 7 picots separated by 5 double stitches, close ring, and reverse work, okay? That would mean you have 7 picots. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In between these 7 picots, you have 5 double stitches. Where it says to close the ring, after you've finished your 7th picot and your last 5 double stitches, you're going to close the ring and reverse your work to do the chain, okay? Then you have another version down below it, okay? Like this one, version 2 of the written instructions. You have a ring of 5 picot, 5 picot, 5 picot, 5 picot, and it continues on, and then it says reverse work. This little dash mark means it's a picot. If you get 2 dashes, that means it's a little bit bigger. 3 dashes, it's bigger. Okay? So remember, your dashes tell you what size picot to go. Alright? Now, One of the things that you've heard me preach about is a Picot gauge. This is where it comes in handy, because when you're doing patterns, if your picots don't match throughout the pattern, it's going to throw your pattern off and make your pattern buckle. Okay, it's not going to lay flat like you want it. Alright, so remember that. Get you a Picot gauge. I will show you how to use a Picot gauge later on. Right now we're just learning to read patterns. Alright, this last pattern right here, this JK10, that is a Josephine knot. Okay, it is a ring using the Josephine chain stitch. Okay, and I'm going to show you in a later video how to do this Josephine ring and a Josephine knot. Okay, Josephine chain. It comes with several different names. It all means the same thing. A Josephine knot and a Josephine ring are the same thing. Okay, a Josephine chain is just as it implies. It is a chain done using the Josephine stitch. Okay, you have two different versions of how to read this pattern. Read over these, understand them. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them in class, because if you've got a question, chances are there's 5 other people that have that same question. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Okay, so now you see the diagrammed pattern, and you see the 2 forms of written instruction. Okay, whichever is easiest for you is the way to go. If you see a pattern that you like and it's only in written, draw it out into a diagram. Your rings and chains don't have to be precise like this. Just a ring with how many picots and the number, and then follow it. So that leads you into designing. See, who knows, you may be a famous designer someday. So anyway, that shows you how to read patterns, and it shows you about the terms. And as I said, links to both of these printouts will be down below the video. Okay, so until next time, happy tatting, have a great day, and thank you for watching.